Well, there we go. It looks like it's working. Technical difficulties are never my strong suit. So, yeah, we will maybe wait for some people to come in. Yeah, it's just going to be a laid back chat. If you're following me from my Instagram, thank you very much. If you're just randomly coming across this stream on YouTube, thank you as well. I'm Josh. Welcome to this channel full of War Waffle World War II based. And today, yeah, just going to be going through what I've been up to this year so far. I've been up to a lot. Hopefully, everybody can hear me okay. Um, yeah, God, been up to a lot this year already. Been to Cambridge slash Duxford twice. Always planned to go once, but the first time that I went was in June, and that kind of came out of the blue. Was very kindly invited by Imperial War Museums to visit the History Festival that they've just started there. It was been going on for a few years. I think this is like the third year that's taken place, but super nice to be invited there. So that was my first time there, which was amazing. Yeah, I was like a kid in a candy shop. I made a video as well, so go check that out on the channel. Just me kind of exploring, and whenever I came across something cool, I kind of wanted to highlight it to you guys. So that was amazing, and the highlight was definitely hearing from and getting to meet Colin Bell, who, if you don't know, was a Mosquito pilot during World War II, flew 50 missions over Berlin, managed to pick up a copy of his book, and managed to get him to sign it as well, managed to meet him, which was amazing. Yeah, I never thought I would get to meet a World War II veteran. Unfortunately, we're losing them now, this year as well. So yes, and then the second time I went to Cambridge, which was about a month later. That was amazing as well. Got to meet up with Ben for a collaboration that we did on a video at the American Cemetery. Go check his channel out as well. Ben Walking for History, amazing channel. Does a lot of stuff with the German War Graves Commission. But yeah, God, it's been a whirlwind of a year so far. And yeah, been to a lot more Commonwealth war grave sites as well. Ever since I've come across those, I've been coming across them more and finding out, oh, there's one there, there's one there. So I started to delve into those graves as well and those stories. Oh, excuse me, which is amazing because I didn't realize how many there were until I dived into it. Over like 3,000 sites, I think it is, maybe less, maybe more. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, amazing to dive into those. Some are obviously bigger than others. The one where I did the video at Blacon, which is really nice and a really good video. I hope people enjoyed that one. So that was just Airmen, but then there's kind of smaller pockets. So yesterday, actually, finally managed to get out and visit some more Commonwealth grave sites up in Llandudno on the Great Ormes Head Cemetery. So stay tuned for that as well. Currently editing that, so that will be out Wednesday next week. So yes, looking forward to that one. And also, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I also put a post up there about that I've started volunteering for the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, part of their speaker program. They have volunteers. Well, they have a wide range of volunteers who do different jobs. So you've got the people who are eyes on, hands on, who go to the graves, make sure that they're not, they don't need cleaning, they're not deteriorating, they don't need replacing. And then you've got the gardeners, obviously, because CWGC sites are always absolutely immaculate. And I always love visiting them. So you've got the gardeners who look after that side of it. And then you've got the speakers and the tour guides as well. So I kind of want to do a bit of both. I want to do the talks, the speaker program, which is where you give talks to groups. It might be a local history group. It might be a gardening group. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. Yeah, just to spread the good word that CWGC does. I think it's really important. That's why I'm mainly here doing this channel. I think it's important that the stories keep going and get told, basically. Yes, got nothing lined up for that yet, but I'm really looking forward to diving into it. Hopefully around Remembrance time, things will pick up, and it's kind of on my end to kind of get talks generated. So I'm very much looking forward to that as well. So looking back on the channel, I already kind of covered more recent stuff, what we've done, Cambridge and Duxford, but going kind of further back, been to a few aircraft crash sites as well, which seems, God, forever ago since I was out hiking in Wales. But we've been to the sites of a Mosquito crash site and a Lancaster bomber as well. And actually yesterday, I don't know if people are aware, there's an app and a website called Traces of War. And I'd heard about it before, but the app stopped working on iOS devices, so I kind of dismissed it. But anyway, it turns out they fixed the app on Apple products now, so I went back on that, and I found some more aircraft crash sites in Wales. I found quite a few historical sites near where I grew up again, so got some plans for that as well. But yes, those two aircraft crash sites that I've been to so far were amazing. Obviously, very different than Mosquito. There really wasn't much left. All spoiler alert for the video if you haven't seen it. Compared to the Lancaster, which there was quite a lot of wreckage left. Obviously, that makes sense. I say that in the video. It's the size of a Lancaster compared to a Mosquito. Obviously, there's going to be stuff that's left. So yeah, I really enjoyed those because it's good exercise, getting out and hiking in the countryside here in North Wales, which is amazing. And also as well, kind of going a bit back a few months, maybe a month ago, I lose track of what I've done when, a busy old life. But the last Tour of Remembrance episode that I did was actually at Abergele, again, close to me in North Wales. And the Tour of Remembrance is something that it might not do well on YouTube in terms of views, but that doesn't really matter to me because I think it's one of, if not the best ideas I've had for this channel of visiting the war memorials, because for the rest of the year, apart from Remembrance Sunday, they just get driven past and walk past and nobody really pays any attention. So I wanted to highlight them and their history, where they came from. Was it, public subscription that erected them, local people? And then I started highlighting some of the stories as well from the men's names who are commemorated on them. And the one at Abergele was amazing. I didn't think of it originally. But as I delved into it, some of the stories, I don't want to spoiler alert, I don't want to get too much into it, but it's basically two of the pinnacle battles of World War II. One's naval, and one is from a battle towards the end of the war. And I couldn't believe that, two names from this small Welsh village would be associated with those battles. So that was amazing to come across. And yep, still got plans to carry the Tour of Remembrance on, because also there's so many war memorials around the country. There's literally thousands. And actually, I figured out, I've been reading, well, this is one of the books I'm currently reading, Century of Remembrance from IWM. And in it's more First World War, the Second World War, but I still find that interesting. And the subject of remembrance is something I'm interested in and passionate about. And this is a really good book, and it kind of delved into how we commemorated the First World War and how the war memorials came about. People thought there shouldn't be. We should just forget it. Just it happened, move on, don't dwell on it, sort of thing. And that was really interesting. It's a very thought-provoking book. So yeah, reading that gave me inspiration for the Tour of Remembrance, because there's thousands of, if you think of every village in England, Wales, and Scotland, chances are there's going to be a war memorial in it. So I'm not going to run out of ideas anytime soon on that front. There's a few that I want to do closer to where I'm from originally, where I grew up. But again, there's loads. It is as Al Murray and James Holland say, it's a never-ending, or a bottomless pit is what they say. Sorry. And so that's one of the books I'm reading. Another book that I'm currently reading actually is obviously James Holland, Brothers in Arms. Literally not that far into it. But it's James Holland, so obviously it's amazing. Currently they're still in Normandy. So if you don't know, it's about the Sherwood Rangers Yeomanry. So it's basically a tank crew, and it's kind of their chronicles, not entire history, because obviously the book would be way longer than this 500 page book, but it's kind of a condensed history, and it focuses on the men of the SRY, James is very, very close to having written this book, and it's amazing so far. They're still in Normandy. It's just after D-Day. Just after D-Day is the period that I'm currently on. And yeah, really looking forward to diving more into those. And obviously, books. I'm looking at my bookcase now, and it is chock a block. My TBR is ever growing, but that is the way. But it's all good fun. You know, you learn about different aspects and different stories, and that's really where I get some of my ideas from, whether it be for short videos or longer form videos. I can be reading a book and I'll read something and it'll just spark an idea and I'll go, oh, that sounds really interesting. I could do a video on that. And that's partly what I wanted to talk about today, is my kind of like, how do I go about making videos? What's my process? How have I found making things for YouTube and Instagram? And I do love it. I love every aspect of it. It can be hard at times. It's hard sometimes to find the time and the energy. The job that I do is very how can I put this? Very mentally taxing. It's very mentally taxing. The kind of job that I do. So that's why when I can get out and about to film a video, excuse me, I will always jump at the chance. But yeah, mainly how I go about it is I will have an idea, whether it's reading a book or seeing something on Instagram, and then I'll start to research it. Obviously, research is always the most important thing, especially in the history world. So I'll try to find out as much as I can. So, for example, you know, if I'm doing a Commonwealth grave site, I will research and try and find out as much as I can about the person, whether I can find stuff about their personal life before the war and after. Amazing. Sometimes it's more difficult than others. Some people, there's a lot of information out there. Others, there's not a lot, which is difficult. So then I try dots and think, oh, could this be what's happened here with this person and that sort of thing. But a few websites that I use is obviously Commonwealth War Graves if I'm doing grave sites. Forces War Records is another one that I've started to delve into, which there's kind of a free version and then there's a paid subscription. It's only about £8 a month, but that gives you more access to more records. And I was hoping it would open more doors for things, which it sort of has in some ways, which is good. So yes, research, and then I'll come up with a rough plan of, you know, how the video is going to go, really. And when I first started making videos, I thought I did right. So I have a little notebook that I use. And when I first started making videos, I thought, oh, you have to remember everything and you have to just have it in here and just, you know, speak it. You can't have notes. But that's sort of changed over time. And what made me change my thinking was actually I saw when We Have Ways, which We Have Ways Fest Stoic Club. I saw when We Have Ways started doing visual podcasts, you know, they would film a video for it as well. I realized that James and Al have notes when they're doing their podcast, because although they're both amazing historians, they can't possibly remember absolutely everything and everything that everybody said, you know, so they have their notes. So I thought, oh, well, if they've got their notes and they can read from them, then it's okay for little old me to do that as well. So I started taking this, and you might have seen in some of my videos that I just have this out now because I think it's more important. It's not about just remembering facts and spouting them off. Anybody can do that. You know, you could, you know, get anybody to do that. I think it's the way that you frame it and the context that you add to it that makes it important. You know, you could think about AI. You know, I spoke about AI before in the podcast that I was part of. You could get AI to do a voiceover, which is fine. You know, if you don't like the sound of your own voice or you're not confident in speaking, I totally understand that. But that's my point, you know, and anybody could read the information and the facts that you give it. But I think it's the context you add to it, your opinion that you add to it, how you say it, the emotion behind it. If it's something you're deeply invested in, you know, for me, so that's aircraft, and air crew, that sort of thing. So yes, I've started kind of being going easier on myself and not thinking that I have to know everything and that I have to be this super all-knowing person. Because at the end of the day, this is just a hobby for me, and I do love it. And I think that's a side that people maybe don't really see. If you watch a lot of history YouTubers, people like JD from the History Underground, obviously he's been doing it way longer than I have. So he's kind of in his stride. He knows what works for him, he knows what doesn't. And when I first started, I was maybe comparing myself to that. Oh, I should be as good as he is. And I think I'm pretty good at speaking. I've been talking for a good 15 minutes here, just find myself just rambling. And so I knew I had this confidence that I can speak and I can speak well. But I thought, just time to go easy on yourself. You don't have to be all knowing, like I said before. And because I think people appreciate genuineness as well. That's what I'm seeing from a lot of the support from people, which is amazing to see. I always get nice comments from people that my passion comes across for the hobby, which is always my number one goal, because I do think it's the most important thing to me anyway. To other people, oh, it's something that happened 80 years ago, but to me, it's very, very important. So yes, and then from there, so I have my notes. If I'm out and about, obviously I'll take my notebook with me. If it's a voiceover video that I've done a few of, where it's more like trying to think of the videos that I've done. So I did the history of the P-51 Mustang, did the history of the Spitfire, the two-seat Spitfire, sorry. They're a bit easier to film because I don't have to go anywhere. I can write the script for the voiceover. I can sit at home and I can do that, in my own time and do multiple takes because I do mess up. That's another thing that I think a lot of history or people in general who make YouTube videos, we want to get it right first time. And sometimes you stumble over your words or you get words mixed up. And that's fine. We're only human at the end of the day, and you've got editing and you can just re-record it. So again, that's another element that I've been trying to go easier on myself with. So if I'm out and about, I'll have my notebook. I will think of kind of B-roll shots, what'll look good. Because again, I think I want to make good videos. I don't just want to make videos for the sake of making videos. That's why, it's been a while. It's been almost a month since I last uploaded, partly because of what I said before about my job. But I don't just want to put stuff out for the sake of putting it out because I could rush. And then I could not be happy with it. Maybe I haven't researched it enough as I possibly could have done. And then I'm not happy with the video. And that's just not me. I would rather put out, well-rounded videos rather than just, the YouTube algorithm needs you to be consistent. You got one video a week, one short a week, blah, blah, blah. It's like I said before, it's a hobby at the end of the day, which I love and enjoy. And yeah, I'd rather put out good content than just, quick content that's not up to my OCD standards. And yeah, then after then, go home, edit it, kind of cut it together. I've started trying to edit in more like historical footage. If it's a particular, say I'm talking about the Lancaster bomber, I'll try and find footage of Lancaster bombers, either on missions or taking off or things like that. Just to add something to the video. Because again, I think you want to make it engaging, again, you want to make good videos, so I could just have, for example, yesterday's video, I was at the gravesites. Excuse me. So for a lot of it, it was just me with the camera on the gravesite and me talking through the story. And that's fine because you're listening to my words. But like I say, you want to make it more engaging. So I try to add in more like unit badges, for example. So then people can see like, oh, if I'm talking about, the 8th Air Force, for example, in my Cambridge video that came out last, I put up a picture of the 8th Air Force badge so people know. Because I realized that different people have different levels of knowledge in this. Nobody is going to know the same as the next person. Nobody's going to read as much as I do and vice versa. So I try to broaden it by kind of showing, not telling sort of thing. So yes, and the edits can be very, very long. Takes a lot of brain power because again, you want to get it right. Um, hey, hello, mates. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining. Yes, I've been rambling for quite a while now. Um, but yes, yeah. So the whole editing process can be quite long. Uh, but again, it's kind of, is it a bit of mindfulness because it does take your mind off things. It's the same when I'm out filming because you're just concentrating on getting the story across, making sure that you're speaking coherently, and you're just focused on that. You're kind of forgetting about other things that you might have going on. So yeah, and then editing, and then yeah, I think a lot of people. I certainly didn't realize getting into this how much work goes into making a YouTube video. There's quite a lot, It's so, for example, yesterday, got up quite early. You've got to drive there, you've got to get there. You could spend an hour filming, and drive back, and then the editing could take, a good couple hours as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Hey, the editing. Yeah, yeah, and it is the bit that you need to do. Yeah, researching is definitely the more interesting part because you come across things. I remember ages ago, I was researching a topic and ended up coming across the actual war diary of the unit that I was researching. So it was kind of day by day, this happened then, and I never come across that before. So I was again like a kid in a candy shop. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Like this is actually what happened, and it's relevant for what I am talking about. So you can put it in your video. Um, but yes, it's all good fun, the whole process, and then you've got the description writing, and they're coming up with the thumbnail and titles, and it's a big job, and you want to get it right, to do well and to get it out there to as many people as possible. Um, but again, like I said before, I do love all of it, and yeah, God, yeah. I mean, there's been so much so far this year. Yeah, and I have the problem with me is I have all these ideas. Well, I want to do this, I want to do that, and again, like I said before, it's just about finding the time and having the energy. But yeah, it's been great to meet like-minded people as well. So, like I said before, I did the video at Cambridge with Ben, who amazing guy, has been really supportive. So I really appreciate him. And as well, the girls from Donut Dollies as well. If you don't know, go check out their podcast, which is amazing. They talk to relatives of the crew from the 8th Air Force. They will talk to actors from the series as well, from Masters of the Air and SAS Rogue Heroes. They do amazing work, they really do. And yeah, super appreciative of their support as well, even though there is an ocean between us because they're based over in the States. Yeah, and yeah, just super appreciative of all the support, really. And yes, and I don't think I've mentioned any of my collection yet, actually, which you can see behind me in my backdrop. I do post about it on Instagram sometimes, and it's ever growing with my aircraft, either Airfix or just ready-made models. But obviously, yes, if you can't tell by now, Spitfires are my favorite. Rolls Merlin engines, the best engines from the war. I didn't get to Thorpe Abbots. No, I that is on my list. That is on my list. I did have a trip planned. It was March this year, but just stuff got in the way because it's quite a it's quite a drive from North Wales. Like Cambridge was far, and I've done that journey quite close together. So in the height of this British summer that we've been having as well. But that's on the list. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Masters of the Air, and very much looking forward to getting there. Having been to Duxford, so I've been to one airfield. I'm kind of excited to see what that one's like and how it feels. Because obviously Duxford being more of a fighter squadron base, Thorpe Abbots obviously being the bombardment group base. And I try not to look at stuff too much when I'm going to places. Like obviously I research where it is and that sort of thing. But I don't want to spoil it, so if I'm going to museums or anything like that, I tend not to look up videos before I go or look on Instagram because I like going there and having it hit me and going, oh my god, they've got that here. Oh my god, they've got that here. which, case in point, actually, I when I was at Duxford, um, I came across the Airborne Assault Museum, and I saw that Al Murray had been there maybe a few weeks before. Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the feeling of visiting and discovering. Absolutely, yeah, because you can experience it through the screen, but I think being there, I certainly felt that when I went to Normandy last year. You read so much about these places, but actually standing there and kind of soaking up the atmosphere is something else. And yeah, and discovering. So I was at Duxford, and I'd seen the post about the Almary was there, and I thought it was just like this little display in one of the hangars at Duxford. So I'm walking through, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's where Almary was, and they've got like a bit of a display and that sort of thing. Didn't realize that there's a whole like other room. Like you go through the doors, and it just opens up into this massive museum with all sorts of exhibits, and it kind of covers the paras from their inception in the Second World War through to more modern day conflicts and how they're involved in Iraq and Afghanistan. And yeah, so again, it's that feeling of, oh my God, I didn't know this was here. Let's explore it. Let's, absorb it. Because I think that's one thing I certainly try to do in this hobby, whether it be reading. You want to absorb the information. That's why my TBR list on my bookshelf is ever growing, because I don't just about the subject. It's like I said before, reading Brothers in Arms by the SRY. You want to understand what the men went through, and also at their level, but then the bigger level as well. Like, okay, they were here at this point, but where I've also read about another unit that was nearby, sort of thing. But it's all good fun. It's all good fun. But yeah, God, we've done so much. And then the next big thing that's coming up is obviously we have Ways Fest, which is rapidly approaching. God, I remember I think the tickets went on sale February, March time. I'm thinking, oh, that's ages away. But as is the case with adult life, things go very quickly. And yeah, we're a couple of weeks away. It's less than a month. Yeah, it's 11th to the 13th of September, isn't it? So yeah, we're just under a month away. And honestly, I can't wait for that. I really can't wait. I was thinking just before that what I'm really looking forward to is just being around like-minded people and meeting people. Because I think a few people who follow each other on Instagram. I think I'm going to get to meet a few people, which is amazing. I know that's what I'm hoping for anyway, and to meet new people as well. It's always nice to meet new people. I remember when I went to Aces High Gallery earlier in the year, back in February. God, that seems forever ago now. Yeah, when I went to Aces High, that was amazing. And I pushed myself to go there, partly to support Geraint Jones, who can now call my friend, who, if you haven't check out his page and his books, Voices of Victory, which is the book they did towards the end of the war, and D-Day, The Unheard Tapes. Trip to kind of, this is going to be a very cringy word, so I apologize. It was a good chance to network, because in life it's sometimes who you know and not what you know. So it was amazing to talk to Geraint in person, talk to him on the podcast, obviously, which was amazing. And then also got to meet Leighton from We Happy Few 506, which I think I spoke about it on the Donut Dollies podcast. That was insane that I got to speak to him, and I knew that he had worked with essentially the actors from Band of Brothers. And I was thinking, I'm so many steps away from literally Band of Brothers actors, and then Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. And that's what I take. And it was the same with, I did a video at the Homefront Museum here in North Wales, and Adrian, the owner, very kindly gave me a bit of his time, and I got to interview him. And he'd recently interviewed Henry Montgomery, so Bernard Montgomery's grandson, when Henry was doing his tour through the UK, following in his grandfather's footsteps in the lead up to D-Day. So when I learned that I was going to interview someone who interviewed a relative of Bernard Montgomery, I was thinking, that's it. That's my claim to fame. I am one step closer to Field Marshal Montgomery, and I'll take that. I'll take that. So yeah, very much looking forward to We Have Ways Fest. I've heard lots and lots about it. I got very, very bad FOMO fear of missing out, if you don't know what that acronym stands for. Got very, very bad FOMO last year. I was literally, I'd seen people posting about it, and I distinctly remember washing dishes and thinking, I could be a weird waste right now, but I'm washing dishes instead. But that's adult life, I guess, sometimes. So yes, yeah, God, yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a year, and there's, like I say, there's still more to come. Obviously, remembrance period in November. I don't really have any plans for that. I have had loose ideas that I want to do something last year. I stayed home. Do you know what, mate? I actually have. That's a very, very spooky question that you should ask. That I mentioned it to my girlfriend, God, ages ago, that I had an idea to write a book about kind of based on my tour of remembrance, really. And do I do it as a bit of a journey through the UK and Wales, and maybe if eventually I get up to Scotland and Ireland, maybe, and write it from kind of my perspective of, I'm in this village today. This was the war memorial that I came across. This is the history behind it, and kind of do it that way, maybe. Because I think I don't really know. I'm not like a James Holland or an Al Murray. Al knows a lot about the Paras. With his obviously dad's history, and James being a general historian, he knows a lot about a lot of subjects. But I felt maybe one about remembrance and the war memorials, and maybe how we commemorate in this country compared to other countries, because we're very different. When I learned about what the Dutch do with the school children who are designated a grave, and they spend the whole year researching this grave, and then on the commemoration day, I don't know if it is November time or whether I think it's around the time of Market Garden, and they go and they present flowers to the person that they've spent the school year researching. And I think that's levels above what we do. Maybe the book could be about my experience growing up in this country and my ideas about remembrance, and how I was involved with being in a brass band and Scouts and Cubs. But that's really it. So maybe I could shine a light on that. So maybe two sides to it. Do it as a bit of a journey through the different countries in the UK and how the war memorials differ, their history. Yeah, my experience maybe. I did have an idea for an app actually the other day, a bit more technological, but and I guess this is the first time that I've mentioned this idea. But I did write a note about it because I knew I'd forget about it otherwise. Where is it? Video ideas. Here we go. Yeah, so kind of had an idea for an app, maybe World War Today, because I know you can Google, what happened on this day. But maybe I thought I'd be able to see what happened on that day during the war and search other days. So you could go in, what happened on my birthday in the war, for example, and maybe a globe in the search function as well. So you could search it and then you could go, oh, this happened in Burma. Myanmar nowadays, and the map, you could click on it and it'll show you, oh, okay, so that happened on that day, and then it'll take you to the globe. But that's way down the line. That was just a random idea that popped into my head. Same with the book. Those are like long ideas that I have, but I guess, yeah, I do have a lot of long ideas, and sometimes it's just about acting on them because you can get caught up in, you got to put the ideas, got to get the videos out. So for example, I have a really long idea in the pipeline to do with the first operation that the Lancasters were used on. Yes, you will definitely get a first copy and a first edition, my friend. Yes, you will. You absolutely will. They do. They are unfortunately getting forgotten. Yes, it's why I think partly I started this channel. I think I said before, we can get caught up in the day-to-day of, got to go to work, got to pay this bill, got to do this, got to do that. But I think for me, a lot of the time, if you just take a second and, just pause, it can really help ground you, I think, this subject matter. I really do. It can put things into perspective. I have an idea. It was from Geraint Jones's book, actually. I have an idea for a short video that I want to make, from a quote from a veteran as well, that kind of speaks about this, about anything that after what they went through in the war, anything you go through pales in comparison, and nothing will ever be difficult again, which people go through difficult times. I understand that, totally. I've been through them myself. But yeah, like I said, it put things into perspective. And it really makes me stop and just appreciate things more as well. So yeah, but absolutely, you will definitely get a copy free of charge and signed. My handwriting isn't the best, but yes, you will get one, my friend. Thank you very much. But yes, lots of ideas in the pipeline. Yes, have an idea to do with the Lancaster, the first raid that the Lancaster we used on Operation Margin, which is hopefully going to have some really cool animations by a good friend of mine, Dan. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's finding the time to get started with these longer projects. It's I have a T-shirt that says "Discipline equals freedom" from a guy called Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL. And it's just that case of being disciplined of like, no, this is my protected time. I'm going to do this Lancaster video. I'm going to write. I'm going to start writing the book, even though I wouldn't know where to start with that. I've had ideas of, oh, where do you even start writing a book? We could open the Word document, but how'd you start? And I know some people would just say, you just start. You just start typing away and going from there. I guess it's the same with the app. You just got to find the right people, speak to the right people, and you will inevitably get there, I guess. Yeah, because I like I say, sometimes I can put a lot of pressure on myself, especially with the videos. With the Lancaster video, like, I want it to do well. I want to do it justice, especially if I'm going to have someone else on board with my friend Dan, who's going to do the animations. Because that's his day job. I don't want to come to him with a half-baked idea and then it not turn out right and, possibly waste his time. But it's just having that confidence to begin and keep going with it. But yeah, still loving every single aspect of this. Hopefully do more of these. Maybe do one around November time, possibly. Yeah. I was speaking to Ben from Working for History as well, so maybe we'll do a joint one, see what he's been up to. Because like I said before, he gets out and about way more than I do. God, he was over in this country again. More recently, doing work with the Volksbund and Commonwealth War Graves Commission as well. So looking forward to chatting to him, hopefully, again. And yeah, so many more places to go and to visit. Yeah, I want to get to some sites near where I grew up, using the Traces of War app that I mentioned before. Came across some things that I never knew before. There's a Wellington, I think it was a Wellington crash that happened relatively close to where I grew up. Never knew. And I lived there for 18 years before I went to university, and never knew. And again, that's why I kind of encourage people to, when I do my Tour of Remembrance videos. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Lost his ear. God, yeah. Oh man. Well, thank you for tuning in from the Somme. I hope it's a lovely day. I hope it's a lovely day out there. That's one region I've never been to. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. How can we compare a bad day? Yeah, I had a bad day at work, or a couple of bad days at work last week, and yeah, God, it pales in comparison, doesn't it? It really does. I've only ever been through the Somme briefly. When I was in the brass band, we did a tour to Belgium, so obviously went through France and obviously Belgium being. It's okay, mate. It's all right. Technical difficulties. I struggle with it at the best of times, but thank you very much for sharing that. I really appreciate that story. Thank you. Yeah. Amazing story. And the stuff that you do, mate, is amazing. You're someone that I look up to. I always see your stuff come up on Instagram, and I think, oh, I gotta raise the bar here. So yes, thank you. I appreciate the story. But yes, the Somme is a very sobering place. I'm sure, much like Normandy is. And I certainly felt that for me. And just taking half an hour out in the sun. Yeah, absolutely. I did the same when I was at the American Cemetery in Normandy. Yeah, I remember just sitting on a bench, just listening to the bird song. It was a lovely day. Because I did the same a couple of weeks ago. I put on Instagram. I went to the Commonwealth War Graves that are just around the corner from where I work, at the Marble Church in Bodelwyddan. Because I said to myself, I just need a minute just to calm and just sit in peace. I'd done 7 days in a row, and I just needed a minute. And I thought, what place better than to be surrounded by? It might sound weird, but be surrounded by Commonwealth war graves, because they are very peaceful sites. And I just sat and I looked at them, took a minute, and just thought, yeah, it was a tough week, but these gentlemen here, they never got to go home. They never got to experience life, really. And again, that's why I put, that's why I jump opportunities, and I want to get out and I want to make these videos, because you want to make the most out of life. I remember having a book when I was when I was younger. I think my mum got it for me. It's called Making the Moose Out of Life. It's one of those kids' books that you would give to your kid if they were struggling with going to school or anything like that. And it tells a story about this moose who, is very scared to leave where he lives. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Great place to reflect. Absolutely, yeah, yeah. They always do. That's why often in my videos, I can remember specifically the Blakon video that I did. One of the last B-roll shots that I did was me just walking through it. Um, Even though they are it's a very somber topic. Yeah, it's a bit of a decompression for me, really, and I'm sure other people agree with that as well. They are amazing sights, as sad as they can be. And I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of an old man. I cry at the war, and I'm obsessed with drinking tea out of my aircraft mug. If you didn't know it was an aircraft mug before, you do now. But yes, amazing sites. I love. I've never been to any of the big ones yet. The biggest one, well, I've been to the Menin Gate. I was very, very lucky to play with the brass band there. We played our national anthem, the Belgian national anthem, during the last post ceremony that's played there every night. And I was, God, how old was I? I was 15, 16, I think, when I was there. And I did GCSE history, which is very, very tough subject to get a good grade in. But I got a C, which is always good. Um, so yes, the biggest one I've been to is Menin Gate, which again I know is more First World War, but had a real appreciation because that structure is just massive. And I do have plans, very loose plans, to go back to Normandy beginning of next year. And I want to do more of the British side. I want to get to the new British Normandy Memorial that's at Gold Beach. Did a lot of American stuff when I went there the first time, which is always good. I love Band of Brothers, and that's always a good gateway for people into this hobby. But yeah, want to do more British stuff, and more recently, I really want to get into more British airborne as well. I can be very what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, yeah. Meninge is very emotional for sure. Yeah, and I'm glad that the last post ceremony is still as popular. I know it's a bit of a tourist attraction, but that's always good because if it gets people into it, if people go to that and then they get moved by it, and then they start researching, whether it be World War One, and then they get into World War Two, I think that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. And the same with what I was about to speak about then about I can be very guilty of, loving American Airborne, 101st and Band of Brothers, which is amazing. But being British myself, I want to get more into what our paras did. I recently bought on Instagram, I put out a post about me buying a battle dress because I had the idea of wanting to wear what my great Tide wore when he fought in Italy. I didn't, mate. No, I didn't manage to get to Merville Battery. It was a very, very whirlwind tour. I was only there, God, maybe like two, 3 full days. And I basically did Utah, Omaha, D-Day experience, Overlord Museum. And I think that was about it from what I can remember. I was in Carentan very briefly as well. So yeah, I want to go back next year and do more. Like I said, go more Gold Beach way. And yeah, Merville Battery is. Hey, I think we're back. Yeah, I think we're back. Yeah. Are we back? think we're back. God, yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, Menengate, that was it. Yes, Ashley's comment there. Yeah, yeah. God, I can imagine. Yeah, that must have been very, very moving. You know, it being the 100-year anniversary. I remember in the time where I went to high school, outside the council building, they had kind of wicker statues of soldiers and had 1914 to 1918. And I remember in 2018 thinking, God, like, yeah, this is quite a momentous thing, really. You know, that I've witnessed the 100-year anniversary, and I'm very, very much looking forward to. I know it's a ways away, and I'll be a lot older by this point, but the 100th year anniversary of the Second World War as well. I remember being in Normandy again. I was in the Overlord Museum, I think it was, towards the end, and they had pictures of veterans, and one was a picture of one of the beaches of Normandy, and it was the 50th anniversary, and they had troops on the beach, they had landing craft in the water and ships in the water. I remember thinking, God, if that's what they did for the 50th, what is the 100th anniversary gonna look like? And I can't wait to see what it'll look like. I hope it will be absolutely massive. I hope it'll be, you know, and if I was in charge, it would be, I would get every single airworthy Spitfire, every single airworthy Hurricane, P-51, whatever, every single airworthy Second World War aircraft that is on planet Earth. You get it, and you know, have it involved in something. Same with maybe not the vessels, because I know that's a bit more difficult, because you know, HMS Belfast is you know, anchored in the Thames, but you know, let's move, you know, come hell or high water, let's get it done. You know, let's get Belfast out of the Thames and let's get it over the Channel and to Normandy. You know, it was there on D-Day. Let's get it there. You know, I would make it the biggest and best anniversary that there's ever going to be, because let's be honest, you know, 100 years is a nice round number, and you know, nobody knows what's going to happen after then. You know, and if I think this subject will last that long, you know, like I said before, James Holmes, Al Murray, it is a bottomless pit, and it really is. But yes, I can't wait to see what that has in store. I mean, if I was in charge, I'd start planning it now. You've got a good, you know, 20 years or so. You know, we know how slow things move in this country, the UK. You know, goodness me, you know, you need to start planning it now. Otherwise, you know, we'll have nothing planned by the time it comes around. So, God, yeah, as if I've been rambling for 50 minutes, but I'll give or take a few minutes with technical difficulties. But yeah, this has been really good. Tried to obviously do it on Instagram. I think it was last week, but it didn't go well. But I think this has gone well. It's just been me rambling pretty much, which is what I'm best known for, I think. But yes, very much looking forward to We Have Waves Fest. So stay tuned for that. Next week, hopefully, there will be a video out exploring 2 stories from the Great Orme's Head here in Llandudno. And then past that, already got plenty of ideas. Something to do with Manchester and Ringway, if that rings a bell with anybody. And yeah, got loads planned. So thank you very much for joining me, if you did. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the Somme, mate. I hope the weather stays nice for you, which it probably will. Yep, enjoy being surrounded in the beautiful French countryside. And yeah, I hope everybody else has a good end to their Sunday. And I hope your week begins okay next week as well. I hope it is filled with lots of war things, whether that be reading books, watching films, or listening to podcasts, or hey, watching my videos. You know, go back into my back catalogue while I'm still editing next week's video. So yes, thank you very much for joining me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.